Hey guys, before we get into things, please subscribe to our channel and make sure you turn on notifications so you know every time we post. And also, head over to our social pages, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram so you can see clips and chat wrestling with us. But now, let's get into the video.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's CTD from C2 Wrestling, and WWE Crown Jewel 2024 has just come to an end, and I'm here to bring you the good, the bad, and the ugly, in my opinion, of course. I don't know if you guys like the show, didn't like the show. Before you even listen to me, get down in the comments your thoughts. Did you like the show? Did you like the outcomes? Do you think the right people won the right matches? Get down in there while you're down there, please. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you know every time we post. Snowden will be back. We have plenty of big things coming up, but let's get into Crown Jewel. Now, I'm not going to go match by match. I'm strictly going to break this down by what I thought was good, what I thought was bad, and what I thought was just downright ugly. And so we'll start with the good because this show did have some good stuff. And the very first match brought us something good. It also brought us something bad and ugly, but we'll get into that. The good from the opening match, Bloodline versus Bloodline. Solo Sikoa pins Roman Reigns. Yes, there was a little bit ref distraction, ref taken out. Yes, there was some moments of Bloodline wonkiness. But Solo hits multiple spikes to Roman and pins him 1, 2, 3. That was probably the most needed outcome of this entire show. We have been doing this bloodline versus bloodline story, and this entire time it has felt that no matter what happens, Solo doesn't feel as strong as Roman. We finally got the much needed win for Solo Sikoa, not against just anybody, but against Roman Reigns. Yes, he pinned Cody Rhodes back at Money in the Bank, and that helped him just a little bit. Main evented SummerSlam, and people constantly trying to poo poo all over Solo Sikoa. The much needed pinfall to legitimize this rivalry. And also, the more important part of this rivalry, we have been talking about how it felt the last few weeks. They've been kind of rushing this story. The bloodline is so quickly back together and they're going to be working together. We insisted that even with or without Sammy, there needs to be a little mess up in the cohesion of the OG bloodline. It shouldn't be like riding a bike. They should not just click right away. And that's what we got tonight. We got Jay not tagging in Roman for when it's a moment in the match where Roman's got his hand out, the entire crowd's going crazy for Roman to get tagged in. It's all a part of Roman's plans, it's what he wants. And Jay tags in Jimmy instead because Jay and Jimmy were rolling. He goes off of what he thinks is best instead of Roman. That's the dysfunction we need. We need that little bit of untrust. Then at the end of the match, this is also in the good category. Roman and Jimmy are getting taken out. No one's there to help. Roman is about to be put through the announce table. Jay makes the save. Once the Bloodline 2.0 goes to take out Jay for good, put a chair around his neck, put him in the corner, that's when Sammy's music hits, and that's when Sammy comes down to the ring to make the save for Jay. He's not there for Roman. He's not there for Jimmy. He's there to save his friend Jay. Now, what happens after? They clear house. Only Solo Sikoa from the Bloodline 2.0 is left in the ring. In the center of the ring, all four of the OG Bloodline are surrounding him. Roman goes for a Superman punch at the same time as Sammy goes for a kick, and Sammy clocks Roman with a kick. Perfectly done. Also in the good category. That made sense. Enhances that story, enhances the bloodline's dysfunction of trying to get back together. Also in that match that I have to throw in there, Jacob Fatu. This is just, you know, we're just repeating at this point, but once again, the guy looks like money, acts like money, takes out most of the bloodline, OG bloodline, helps Bloodline 2.0 win. I thought that was very good. The match itself, we'll get into a little bit more later in the video. Also, in my good category, that women's four-way tag match. The match I probably had the least amount of expectations for, just because there's so many people in a match like that. A lot of times those matches can get clunky. They kind of feel very spot driven where it's like, okay, here's the next moment. Okay, here's the next moment. That match was fun. That's the only way to put it. That match was fun. If you didn't get any sort of enjoyment out of that match, I don't know what else you could ask for. I think it was just a downright fun match. That's it. And that is very good. That is a win. And I enjoyed the hell out of it. I enjoyed the match. I thought everyone in the match played a great role, got a great reaction. I thought Meta 4 fit right in. If anything, they look like they could be actual players on the main roster. Chelsea Green was pretty much the focal point of the match, and she was damn good at it. I mean, Chelsea Green is money. I would love a Chelsea Green money in the bank run next year. That match was downright fun. I really enjoyed it. That goes in my good category. Also, in the good category, Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. First of all, Kevin Owens showing up in the Cowboy Bob Orton shirt again. Love that. Love, love, love that. Wore the Dusty shirt when he faced Cody. Wears the Cowboy Bob shirt when he faces Randy. Love that. That match not even happening. Also love that. We had said on this channel that that match needs to end with a disqualification or a stoppage or something like that. That's not a match that can just have a stunner and a win or an RKO and a win. That needed to get down and dirty, and it did. No bell ever rang. Owens immediately attacking Orton with a chair. Refs getting stunnered. Adam Pearce eating an RKO. That's the type of match, or lack of match, I should say, that we needed for this story because it has been a rivalry for the last few weeks. It has made sense. We have Triple H saying how he's trying to protect Orton from Owens. Well, just having a normal matchup doesn't make sense. Now, in the future, we could be heading towards, I don't know, a last man standing match, a no holds barred match, a falls count anywhere match, you name it. But that's the type of match that this rivalry needs. Kevin Owens and Orton take each other out. It finishes with Owens hitting an elbow drop through two tables on Randy. Love it. Love that there was a no match. Love that they both went after each other. They both got their moments. Owens got the final moment of standing tall. He was down on the ground, but standing tall. That story needed that. It did not need just your regular old matchup, and it did not need someone to win or lose. That's how it should happen. And my final spot in the good category of good, bad, and ugly, that U.S. title match from bell to bell. Now, I'll talk about the outcome in a second, but from bell to bell, the best match of the night. We already know about the chemistry with Carmelo Hayes and Andrade. LA Knight factored in perfectly. I mean, there were multiple spots in this match that were so fun. Just off the top of my head, one of my favorite moments. You got Carmelo Hayes down in the middle of the ring. LA Knight gets taken out outside the ring. Andrade goes to the top turnbuckle. You think he's about to go after Carmelo Hayes. Instead, he hits a moonsault out of the ring perfectly onto LA Knight. The match just had a beautiful flow to it. I know there was one or two slip ups there, but I don't even care. There was so many great moments, but of course, the best moment of them all, that finish, the creativity, the smoothness, the out of nowhereness, not really a word or words that go together, but just perfectly done. Perfectly done. I love that match from bell to bell. But that's where I'm going to stop it with the from bell to bell because starting off my bad category, I don't like that we have no true payoff of the best of seven between Carmelo and Andrade. Now, there might be, they might face one more time. They might finally put a bow on it, but it seems like they won't. We had them face off and it ends in a no contest because LA Knight takes them both out. Then they have a triple threat match and LA Knight just wins. Well, there's no real payoff to that best of seven that was going so great. I still want to see more from Melo and Andrade. I don't feel finished between the two of them. I haven't, that story doesn't feel like that chapter is closed, like we're at the end page of the book. I'm left wanting more. And if that's how it ends, that is solidly in the bad for me because that is upsetting that you go through all of that. And this is no knock on LA Knight. I love LA Knight. LA Knight is great. They almost didn't need to be put in with LA Knight. Could have just still been the number one contender, whatever. For it to just be LA Knight beats them both, definitely on the disappointing side in that aspect. But that kicks off the bad category. I also need to move on to my main bad. And this, honestly, I thought about putting in the ugly, but I put it in the bad out of respect. Another match, another loss for big Bronson Reed. The main reason it's not in the ugly category is because he was booked strong. It did take 3 curb stomps. Seth did have to go to the very top rope and hit a super curb stomp or whatever you want to call it to take out Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed, how many times are we going to have him look strong and still lose? It just it felt like this was must win for Bronson Reed and he lost. It felt like he needed this match more than Seth by a landslide. To me, Seth is a guy that he could lose 100 matches in a row. He's always going to have his credibility. He's Seth freaking Rollins. He's one of the most established guys you have on the roster. Big Bronson Reed needs that big win. And now it seems like they're going to rematch based on how the match ended, based on Bronson Reed getting up after all those curb stomps and Seth being confused that he could still get up. It just doesn't hit the same if Bronson wins the rematch. He needed to win the first one for me because now I'm like, okay, if he wins, great. You know, he was booked strong, which is nice, but that happens in all of his losses. It's like if he just loses again, now what? Now I think they'll rematch. I think Bronson Reed will win, but it doesn't hit the same for when it's not a baby face chasing this, overcoming adversity. When it's a heel that's a big monster that can take all this damage, it doesn't hit the same as, the normal storyline of a babyface overcoming the odds. So that was strong in the bad category. And finally, in my bad category, Nia versus Liv just did not do it for me. That was, you know, it was a bunch of whatever for me. I don't think the match was great. I wasn't crazy about the story. That'll lead into my ugly in a second. It just didn't hit for me. Liv had her moments. Tiffany Stratton was great. She's been great. The T's cash in, nice. I didn't expect her to cash in, so that's fine. I'm not upset that she didn't. I prefer that she didn't actually. But that match just didn't hit for me. Just didn't do it. It couldn't hold my attention. It just wasn't there. I don't know what it was. It was just bad. And now we move on to the ugly. There was a lot of sloppy moments for everybody, but it does have to be excused a bit. You have super long travel. It's super hot there. These Saudi shows are just ugly normally. This was probably one of the better ones, but these shows just, you see these moments where wrestlers, they go to do moves that they land 99 out of 100 times. This is the one time they don't. Things just always kind of seem off sync. There's always something about these Saudi shows because of the travel and the heat that it's just like, I know they're exhibition. I know it's not this isn't WrestleMania. I understand that. But it's just almost every single match has it. Sometimes it's in big moments. And it almost feels a little bit like some of these matches are cursed. I mean, the Bloodline versus Bloodline match was probably one of the more sloppy Bloodline matches we've ever seen. And the botch of the miss 3 count where Jimmy doesn't seem to get there in time. Maybe he hits Solo's foot before the ref, is going to count 3. I don't know. It's a bad camera angle to tell. It's just ugly, ugly. There was a lot of moments like that. I'm not going to harp on it because there are a lot of variables that go into it that would cause it. But to me, I've never been crazy about the Saudi shows, and this kind of adds to it. But the main ugliness, the number one ugly that wraps this video up. And now, I haven't touched on Cody Gunther, as much as you'd think by now. So you may be saying to yourself, oh, the ugliest is going to be that Gunther lost. No, it's not that. Although I do think he needed that win. And I'm not crazy about the match. You can see my live reaction. I thought Gunther really needed the win way more than Cody. But whatever. That's fine. The ugly is the champion versus champion match idea itself, anyways. Them doing it every year, it just, to me, it books you in a corner. You have to have these wonky finishes to kind of help each person. Nia has to lose with a ton of distractions and stuff, so it's not going to be a clean finish. Gunther loses on a roll up. Like, I'm just not about the champion versus champion idea at all, especially it being a yearly thing. That is something that since the moment it was announced, I wasn't crazy about. I said I'd give it a chance. I watched it and I'm still not crazy about it. I think it is a not great concept. It does nothing for me. I know it's an exhibition show essentially, but still, they want to treat it like a PLE. I got to talk about it like it's a PLE. Didn't do it for me. I am not in the boat of doing this every single year. I tweeted out on our Twitter or our X, C2 Wrestling. I said, I wish both guys could win when it was Cody Gunther. I didn't want either of those guys taking a pin, but you're put in a spot where you needed one of them. There's going to be no distractions. Goldberg is in Athens watching the Georgia Florida game. He's not showing up to take out Gunther. Ludwig Kaiser ain't showing up to distract Cody. You're going to have a finish. That is a story to me. I have said from the jump is a WrestleMania main event. The story is so easy to book. It felt like we were, you know, I don't want to complain too much because, hey, I just got Gunther versus Cody, but it definitely has watered down any rematch. And now, technically, Cody's 3-0 up on Gunther. He eliminated him twice, back to back Royal Rumbles, and he beats him here. I just hate the champion versus champion. I don't want it every year. It might happen. It's probably going to happen. Whatever. Hopefully, it's not something that lasts that long. But that's my good, bad, and ugly on Crown Jewel. I would love to know your thoughts. Get down in the comments. Maybe you love the concept. Maybe you love the finishes. I don't know. Get down in the comments. I want to know your thoughts. While you're there, subscribe, turn on notifications. Podcast drops every Thursday on here on YouTube, but also on Spotify and on Apple if you want to follow us over there. But you got to be locked in here and our socials at C2 Wrestling. It's been your boy CTD. It was a fun show at times. Certain parts were whatever, but now we can move past this and get on the road. 4 weeks away. I think 4 weeks exactly away from Survivor Series, where we will get the main event, War Games, Bloodline, OG Bloodline versus Bloodline 2.0. You got to be locked in on this channel. We're going to have some fun things coming up for it. I've been CTD. I will catch you guys next time. Peace.